It has been a wild week in the NHL. We've gone from countries going at it both on and off the ice on best hockey, and then right back into the chaos that is the 2025 NHL season, all within just a few days. This week had everything you could ask for. So let's break down what really happened in week 20 of the NHL season. Four Nations recap. NHL fans were finally treated to a best tournament after 9 long years. We should never have to wait that long again, and based on how entertaining and exciting this tournament was, I don't think we'll have to. It all started with Canada versus Sweden. We see McDavid to Crosby to McKinnon, sickening. Who's stopping that? Sweden almost gives Canada a heart attack by forcing OT, but Mitch Marner's the hero. Leaf fans are like, where was this in Game 7? Sid, the middle-aged man, looks like a kid again with 3 assists, and Team Canada looks strong. Then, Team USA steamrolls Finland like they're a peewee team, but Finland makes it right back up by beating Sweden in OT, with Granlund reminding Linus Ullmark to close his damn legs. That set up the game of the week between USA and Canada. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds, the craziest start to a game we've ever seen, but other than a McJesus special, USA puts on a defensive clinic to beat Canada and punch their ticket to the finals. That means that Canada needs to beat Finland in regulation to get a rematch. They play 55 minutes of nearly perfect hockey to put them up 4-0, but things get off the rails. Finland scores 3 unanswered, everyone's bumhole in Canada gets tight, but Captain Canada says enough, buries a guy, catches the puck, and seals it himself with the empty netter. That means we get the final that we all been waiting for. Canada versus USA. Political tensions are at an all-time high between the two countries. Both sides are talking smack, anthems are getting booed, and it sets up the biggest hockey game we've seen in the last 15 years. The puck drops and the energy is electric. The dog sifts one from Jupiter to beat Hellebuck. It's 1-0 Canada. Then USA looks to copy the script from Game 1. Guess who? Brady Tkachuk, 1-1. The States are starting to feel it. They're banging bodies, creating chaos, and Jake Sanderson makes it 2-1 for USA. Canadians are starting to panic, but not Team Canada. Mitch Marner, slick Rick pass to Sam Bennett. He goes top shelf. How are ya? 2-2 tie game. This one deserved OT, and the U.S. are shot out of a cannon. They could have scored 3 different times, but Canada is saved by the very man they doubted in Jordan Binnington. So after getting bailed out, Canada finally gets an ozone draw. It's Marner to McDavid, and good night. 15 years after the golden goal, Connor McDavid repeats history. Canada beats USA to say congrats on being the 11th province, and 16.1 million viewers in North America watched this game. For a made-up tournament that many people thought was just going to be a glorified all-star game, this was an absolute home run for the NHL and the game of hockey as a whole. Canada sits on top of the hockey world for now, but Team USA will have something to say about it in the 2026 Olympics. Saturday, back to work. So after seeing guys like McDavid receive passes from McKinnon and Crosby, we had to go back to watching mere mortals. 14 games on, so let's kick it into high gear. Starting with the Red Wings and Wild, Alex DeBrincat isn't easing into anything. He catches Faber head down, smoked. Keep your head up, kid. Welcome back to the NHL. The Red Wings are up 3-1, but they fall asleep at the wheel. Marcus Foligno ties it late, and Marco Rossi with the old swing and a miss on the B-way in OT. Steer one for him, but it squeaks through as the Wild complete the comeback. Then, Oilers and Flyers, where McDavid is somehow playing 30-something hours after being the OT hero. But this game was the Matvei Michkov show. 3-point night, kid was feeling it. He pots one in the process, all while Torts and Philly hold McJesus to 0 points. If I'm the Oilers GM, I'm flying that guy to Cabo for a week of a little R&R. Pittsburgh should do the same for Sid, but he's going until he can't go no more. He comes right out and goes backhand Billy on Logan Thompson. 37 years old, Sid the middle-aged man is still carrying the Penguins. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh continues to be pathetic. Halfway through the second, it was 2-2, and they just fall apart. 4 unanswered goals for Washington. The Caps didn't have a single player go to the Four Nations, and the whole league might be in trouble because of it. They're rested, recharged, and motivated as they dummy the Penguins 8-3. The hashtag Save Sid movement has never been stronger. Meanwhile, it looked like the Rangers were still in Cabo themselves. They let the Sabres score 5 goals in the first period. Igor gets the yank, and Buffalo surprisingly doesn't screw it up. They enjoy cookie night, putting up 8 goals of their own, and we also get an all-time hot mic after Rob Ray takes a puck right into the noggin mid-play.
Then it's 4-0. Fuck!
Now, a team who could have used the Cabo trip is the Panthers. They sent the league-high 8 players to the Four Nations, and perhaps the most concerning part for them is the health of Matthew Tkachuk. He played hurt in the final game and didn't dress for this one against Seattle. Boys were running on fumes, which is why the Kraken beat them 2-1. That loss is music to Leaf fans' ears who can't decide if the parade is fully on or canceled after Marner beat Matthews in the Four Nations final. But they're back to being on the same line and doing it in typical Leafs fashion. They go up 4 in the first. Everyone thinks it's cookie night, and they almost blow it with Carolina scoring 3 unanswered, but Matthews gets the empty netter to avoid a classic Leafs choke. Almost ceremoniously, as it was the 5-year anniversary of David Ayres, the Zamboni driver, beating the Leafs. Then we get a beautiful moment as Columbus sings happy birthday to baby Johnny Gaudreau, who turned 1. There you go. How about the waterworks? First day back, but if you're a Blackhawks fan, you've been crying ever since game 1. Another blowout loss, 5-1. Zach Werenski's going coast to coast. 1 goal, 2 assists. The guy has hit another level this season to put him in the convo of the best defenseman in the world. Meanwhile, the dog, Nathan McKinnon, is fresh off of being named tournament MVP, but he gets shut out by the Preds. UC Saros stopped 31 of 32, and for the sake of Nashville, you gotta hope the team took the break to catch a U2 concert for the second half of the season. Hoping to find a little of that magic as well are the Devils. They started the season red hot, but they've slowed down, being 3rd in the Metro. Jack Hughes, who had a relatively quiet Four Nations tournament, comes out on fire, potting 2 goals, but the Stars say relax and have Casey DeSmith shut the door as they hold on to a 4-2 lead. Low-key team that's on a heater right now is going to be the Ducks. They've won 6 of their last 7 before the break, and Uncle Leo Carlson buries an OT to keep the Ducks flying together with their 4th straight win. Side note, John Gibson, who's been rumored to be leaving Anaheim for years, got hurt in this one, which could be a tough bounce heading into the trade deadline on March 7th. Then, Arbor Jackeye issues a full-on challenge to Brady Tkachuk in the media, saying he's going right at him. The Canada versus USA hate is spilling right over to guys that weren't even in the tournament. Unfortunately for all of us, though, we didn't get to see the fireworks as Tkachuk was out in this game due to a lingering injury. But Juraj Slafkovsky turns into a goon. He pots a goal and drops the gloves with Ridley Gregg. Jackeye himself loves it. All the boys come over to give him some love after the tilt. The Sens are still right in the playoff race, but they've now lost 4 in a row and are slipping back into that Bermuda Triangle of mid as they've allowed 5+ goals in each of their last 3 games. The total opposite is the Jets. Riding an 8-game win streak, these guys are a wagon. St. Louis, 30 seconds away from victory in a game they desperately need. Gabe Vilardi says nah and ties the game up. Then, who else but Team USA's healthy scratch in the final and Kyle Connor to clinch the win in a shootout and give the Jets their 9th straight win while setting a franchise record. He probably should have played in that final game. Over in LA, the Utah no-name brand gets a legacy performance from Barrett Hayton. That's his first career NHL hat trick, but Drew Doughty is riding the wave of his play at Four Nations. 3 weeks ago, this guy hadn't played a game all season long. He hops right into the fastest hockey we've ever seen and then comes back and puts up 3 points in a Kings win. Finally, it's the Canucks versus the Golden Knights. No Shea Theodore is a tough blow for them, but it's ironically just in time for them to turn into the Vegas injured reserves right before the deadline. They already picked up Brandon Saad, who makes Canucks fans sad by potting the game winner, and Vegas wins their 3rd in a row to end a monster Saturday night. Sunday, OV Mania. Oilers versus Caps, and you bet your ass the Russian machine is going to go on a tear with a full 2 weeks of a little R&R. First goal, he slings it from the top of the circles like he's in his youth to beat Pickard clean. A little fist bump for OV Jr., and he's not done there. Second goal, from his office, guy's flirting with the Rockstar Zone, and he hammers one past Pickard. He's on Hattie Watch, which means you better pull that goalie, because there's no one more dangerous with the empty cage. He gets his 3rd of the night. He goes for a lap around the rink to give his kid another fist bump. This guy is now 13 goals away from beating Wayne Gretzky's record. If I told you at the beginning of the season that Ovi would break his leg on November 28th, come back and score 14 goals in 23 games, you would have called me nuts. But no one is built like the Russian machine, and he's getting that damn record, and it might happen a lot sooner than all of us thought. The Caps, by the way, score 15 goals over the weekend. Then it's Penguins and Rangers, and to everyone's surprise, Pittsburgh was dominating. Matt Rempe gets 2 minutes for being tall and, well, being Matt Rempe, while the Penguins are scoring goals off of the ass cheeks of the Rangers. But despite being outshot 39-15, the Rangers find a way to squeak out a dub in Pittsburgh. courtesy of Igor Shesterkin. Now, going to the dog goal of the night, it's got to go to Brandon Hagel. Look at him hold up Bjorkstrand like it's his little cousin at a birthday party, and he goes backhand for the shorty. Vasilevsky, 36 saves, and Tampa wins their 5th in a row. Everyone thinks they're washed. I don't think so. They're going to be sleepers going into the playoffs. Nashville's feel-good run lasted barely 24 hours until they got spanked by the Devils 5-0. Kudos to Nico Dawes as he gets his first career shutout. Welcome to the show. Meanwhile, the Ducks and Wings are having a war. Watch Zegras go straight to the dome of Michael Rasmussen. That's a little dirty, and everyone starts to take exception as things get heated. Is it possible the Red Wings blow another 4-1 lead? Yes, but when you need him most, Showtime will always come through. Patty Kane, OT breakaway, keep the change. The Red Wings are still 8-1-1 in their last 10. Moving over to Cale Makar, making history. He gets an assist and becomes the 3rd fastest defenseman ever in the NHL to hit the 400-point mark. Too bad Binner is a winner, and he stops 28 shots to hold the Avs to just 1 goal. Meanwhile, the Robertsons have a night. Nick scores twice for the Leafs to beat the Bedards 5-2. They're back on top of the Atlantic, so parade's on. Jason Potsahati against Lou's Islanders as the Stars win 4-3, and if any team is going to come remotely close to catching Winnipeg, it may be them. However, there's drama for that last wildcard spot in the West. In Utah, no name, no matter. Genter tips her home late in the 3rd for the game winner, and they now just sit 4 points back of the Canucks for that last wildcard spot. Brutal day for Canucks fans considering they had to put Thatcher Demko back on the IR. The Calgary Flames are also right there for the last wildcard spot, but you can't be leaving Celebrini home alone like that on the doorstep. Unfortunately, I think the Sharks' 2025 Cup prophecy is dead. So Calgary is able to pull through and pick up a big 2 points to stay in the race and wrap up a hectic Week 20. So, what did you think of this week in the NHL? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below. You can check out some of our 4 Nation breakdowns on screen here. And if you want more weekly NHL breakdowns and content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.